Months ago, veteran pollster Frank Luntz sat down with a group of 17 voters who were undecided before last month's consequential debate between Biden and Trump. And a lot has happened since, admittedly. Are there any closer to making up their minds about who should lead the Democratic ticket?
Just a step aside, which I think is his choice, then Harris is next in line. I would hate to see that process circumvented.
I think we hear Kamala Harris. I don't know that she can win, though, which is sad.
I wish I could give you a name, but as well, I don't know.
Maybe Gavin Newsom, maybe.
I think their best chance at that would be Andy Beshear.
Joining me now, Frank Luntz. This is not very good news if you are the Biden-Harris ticket, that they are not just undecided. They don't want anyone.
And you're correct that it is Biden and Harris, and they basically want a new beginning. They want a new start. This session was very hostile to Donald Trump and his personal behavior, the things that he says and how he says it. But they were very disappointed in Joe Biden. They were shocked. That debate is going to go down in history as being the most consequential moment since the debate between Kennedy and Nixon in 1960. It really did change minds. They were not hostile to Joe Biden going in, but they became hostile when he came out. And Harris hasn't done anything to prove that she should be the heir apparent.
What do they think of the Trump speech last night? Because obviously they didn't harbor ill will before. Did they find that speech unifying enough to say, well, if this is the ticket, I'll go the other way?
So I always want to get it right, and I want to acknowledge I got it wrong last night, that I didn't realize how hostile they were to how long Trump went, to the language that he used. His teleprompter speech, wonderful. What he actually delivered, all the impromptu, was not so positive.
I want to hear what they told you. Let's listen to this.
Show of hands, how many of you would give Donald Trump's speech an A? 1. How many would give him a B? 1, 2, 3. How many of you give him a C? And that's where you get everyone. Who would give him a D? 1, 2, 3 of you, 4 of you. And who would give him an F? So nobody flunks him.
Did that surprise you?
It surprised me because that's not what I thought. That's not what I saw. Because I was in the convention hall. And we have to be very careful who we surround ourselves with to give us an accurate impression. The core of what he said, bring the country together, focus on the future, get things done, the core is perfect. But the added stuff, the Trump stuff, the anger and the name calling simply doesn't sit well with them. And these are the people that Trump and Biden need to win. It's the last 4% of America. If they all swing one way or the other, they determine the election outcome. They were very disappointed with last night.
Have they given some sense of a ticket that they would support?
No, and that's the problem, is that normally if I bring you a problem, I have a solution. I can tell you where they don't have a solution. They want to start fresh, and they emphasize that. They don't like the politics of today. They don't like the yelling and screaming. They're looking for unity. They're looking for what Donald Trump promised but failed to deliver last night. And I do acknowledge that I didn't hear it, but I hear it now.
Do they ever react to the idea of the Democrats wavering on who should be at the top of their ticket?
They think that the wavering is correct. That debate destroyed their impression of Joe Biden. I know him. I know the man. I've known him for 20, 30 years, taught his son. So it gives me no pleasure to say that they want him to move on. They watched that debate. It was painful for them. They didn't think that Trump behaved presidentially, but they believe that Joe Biden is no longer presidential.
The idea of where this is all coming out certainly is not good news for the Biden-Harris ticket, but not necessarily for the Trump-Vance one either in America if they want a do-over. Frank Luntz, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, you know, there's